So when you reflect on a truly effective communicator, like a CEO's keynote, a powerful lawyer, or
Mhm.
or even just a colleague who's absolutely nailing a big presentation,
Right.
what is it that made them so exceptional? We often obsess over the slides, the data,
All the content.
but the sources we gathered for this deep dive argue that the content is, well, almost secondary if the delivery system fails.
That's really the core challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could have the most brilliant ideas in the world just locked inside your head.
Yeah.
But if they don't resonate with the people in the room, they're trapped. The message just
Yeah.
doesn't arrive.
And your body is the vehicle for that
It
message.
is. Your body language is, I think, simultaneously the most powerful communication tool you have
Yeah.
and the easiest way to completely undermine your own credibility.
We absolutely have to start with the cautionary tale from the sources. I mean, we all saw that clip of Michael Bay trying to give a presentation,
Oh, yeah.
and it just went sideways so fast when he had that teleprompter issue. It was
Yeah.
a perfect, if painful, lesson in what not to do.
It was a fascinating study in anxiety just taking over a person. I mean, his stance might have been okay at the very beginning, but the nervousness just, it melted his physical presence.
You could see it happen in real time. His hands started meshing and wringing.
Constantly clasping, unclasping. He started swaying. He turned his back to the audience at one point,
Looking down, not making any contact.
and eventually he just walked off stage. He lost his composure entirely.
And that's the harsh lesson, right? When the speaker stops being aware of what their body is doing, the body language becomes the only message.
Exactly. The audience stops hearing your brilliant content because they're completely distracted by the discomfort. They're focused on the person struggling, not the ideas being shared.
That's the danger we're trying to avoid. We all want to bypass our own Michael Bay moment.
But the shift in perspective here is key. Body language isn't just about, damage control. It is genuinely a communication advantage. It should be a power tool.
And that's our mission today. We are diving into how body language can become that superpower, and we're focusing on three core elements: building a stable foundation with posture, strengthening your content with intentional gestures, and then finally reading and engaging with the audience.
So let's start with that base. Posture.
Posture breathes success.
It really does.
Mm.
Your interaction with the audience starts the second you step into the room, long before you say a single word.
So that first impression is entirely visual.
It's all about your posture and the position you take in that physical space.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The position of strength. Where should you actually stand? It sounds so basic, but you mentioned this concept of the center box.
Absolutely. First, the basic rules. Never, ever turn your back to the audience to look at a screen. You have to face the people you're talking to.
Always.
Now, the center box. Just imagine a stage or any presentation area. The center box is that area directly in front of the audience, free of any obstructions. It's where you are most visible, most central.
And is that relative to the stage or the audience? Like if I'm in a huge auditorium versus a tiny conference room.
It's relative to the audience's attention. So in a big space, it's the center of the stage. In a small room, it's just the area where you're equally visible to everyone. The key is that moving within this box is effective. It signals comfort and command.
But avoid the corners.
Avoid the corners. That's perceived as cowering, uncertainty.
And you also have to be mindful of what's behind you. The sources talk about standing in front of distractions.
That is such a subtle but crucial detail. People miss it all the time. If you're in a conference room with a big window and you stand right in front of it,
Oh, I see.
the audience's peripheral vision is constantly being pulled to the movement outside. A car, a runner, a bird, anything. And every single time that happens, you lose a tiny fraction of their attention.
You're creating visual competition for yourself.
You have to eliminate it.
Okay, so that covers where to stand. Let's talk about how to stand. The sources catalog 3 really common bad postures that just instantly undermine your authority.
And we all do them. First one, hands in pockets.
Guilty.
It just screams nonchalance or like you're overly casual. It's not professional strength.
Yeah.
And what's worse, physically, is it makes your shoulders roll forward, it shrinks your chest, and it actually makes your voice less impactful because you can't breathe properly.
So you're literally making it harder for yourself to project. Okay, the second one is hands on hips. I always thought this one looked powerful.
It looks overbearing.
We know we're daring.
It's too much power. It can signal hostility or an aggressive stance, and that immediately puts the audience on the defensive. We want connection, not a confrontation.
Makes sense. And the third one, which has my favorite name, is the fig leaf.
Ah, the fig leaf. Yes. This is where the hands are clasped low down, sort of protecting the family jewels.
Right.
It looks timid, it looks defensive, like you're trying to hide. And the specific warning here is critical if you try to gesture from that position.
Oh, no.
The movement outward can, for a split second, look like you are flashing the audience. And once you've done that, you have lost all credibility.
Yeah.
It's over.
So looking back at Michael Bay when he was wringing his hands and clasping them low, he was basically in a distressed version of the fig leaf.
Exactly. It shows that immediate internal conflict, that vulnerability, and an audience subconsciously reads that as a lack of confidence in the message itself.
So if we avoid those three, what is the ideal strong base posture?
There's a simple physical drill to find it. Stand with your feet hip width apart. Lift your hands way up above your head. Get a really good stretch. Straighten your back.
Okay.
And then just let your arms drop naturally to your sides. That's it. That is the base posture.
But I imagine that feels very exposed, maybe even a little stiff to the person standing there. If it doesn't feel comfortable, isn't that just another distraction?
That's a great point. It might not feel natural to you at first because we're all used to our bad habits, the pockets, the fig leaf.
Right.
But to the audience, it looks stable, open, and confident. And that stability is what matters. This posture isn't a statue. It's your resting point. It's home base. It's where your hands return after you make a gesture.
That reframes it perfectly. It's the stable anchor. So once we have that foundation solid, we can start moving. Let's talk gestures. This is where body language becomes a superpower.
The data here is, it's just astonishing. It shows how much kinetics matter for memory. If you use effective gestures, the audience remembers twice as much of your message.
Twice as much.
Twice as much. And it's not just for them. Gesturing also helps the speaker's own memory recall. It just makes the conversation flow better.
So this isn't just, moving your hands around to fill space. We're actually integrating movement to lock information into people's brains.
Exactly. And the sources break this down into three powerful types: the give, the show, and the chop.
Okay, let's start with the give.
The give is your offering gesture. You use it when you're providing facts or solutions or options. And the absolute non-negotiable rule here is your palm must be up. You are generously offering something to them.
Okay, palm up. Then there's the show. This sounds like the creative one.
It is. This is where you use your hands to paint a picture of an abstract idea. The rule here is congruency. The gesture has to visually match what you're saying.
For example.
If you're talking about rapid market growth, you use a strong, upward, expanding gesture. If you're talking about connecting two departments, your hands move together. You can't, as the sources warn, say profits are arising while using a downward chopping motion. Your body has to support the words.
And the last one, the chop.
The chop is for conviction. It delivers a strong opinion or a key decision. It's definitive. You can use one hand or both hands for a bigger, more emphatic chop that delivers an even stronger message.
Let's go back to the give for a second and that palms up rule. Because the numbers you found here, this is what turns this whole thing into a practical lesson. The compliance data is shocking.
It really is. It shows how deeply hardwired our response to nonverbal commands is. So this data is about when you're directing an audience to do something.
Okay.
When a speaker uses that palms up give gesture, studies show there is an incredible 84% compliance rate.
84%. Wow. And what happens if the palm is facing down?
Compliance just plummets. It drops to 52%.
That's a 32-point difference based on nothing but the orientation of your hand.
It's the difference between asking for something and commanding it. The palm up gesture is an offering, a request. It feels collaborative.
Not aggressive.
Exactly. The palm down gesture is a signal of dominance. It's a command being pushed onto the audience, and people instinctively pull back.
That makes perfect sense. And the data gets even worse if we start pointing fingers.
Oh, yeah. If you point a finger directly at the audience, compliance drops to just 28%.
So an absolute rule, never point at the audience.
Never. It looks arrogant. It looks hostile. We've all seen those political examples, the famous, "I did not have sexual relations," with that sharp finger point.
Instantly creates distance, antagonism.
It signals blame. And while we're on things to avoid, let's mention one more. The T-Rex gesture.
The T-Rex.
Yeah, those little short, jerky hand movements held really close to the body. They don't just look silly, they signal restriction. A lack of confidence, you're physically trapping your own energy.
So the takeaway is that good gestures are planned. They're visual reinforcement, not just random hand flapping.
Precisely. And now that we've covered the speaker, we need to turn our focus outward to the people who really matter. the audience.
Right. We've been obsessing over the speaker's posture, the speaker's movements, but we have to remember who the hero of the story is.
And it's not the speaker.
It's you, the listener, the audience.
Yeah.
Our sources often cite Nancy Duarte's analogy here. The speaker is Yoda, the expert guide, but the audience is Luke Skywalker, the hero on their journey.
And our job is just to keep the hero on track. This means the speaker has to be hyper-aware of the audience's body language. Don't get so focused on your own gestures that you miss what their bodies are telling you.
Reading the room isn't a bonus skill.
It's a fundamental responsibility.
So if we're doing that, what are the clear signs that our hero Luke is getting derailed?
The signs of disengagement are pretty universal. They're constantly checking their phones, they're looking at the clock, fidgeting, slumping.
The blank stare.
Complete zone out, yeah.
Yeah.
An engaged audience is the opposite. They're leaning forward, they're taking notes, nodding their heads.
Okay, so we spot the disengagement. We need strategies to bring Luke Skywalker back into the story. How do we re-engage?
Strategy 1 is a reinforcement loop. You double down on all the good body language we just talked about. Strong posture, impactful gestures. Use your own physical energy to recapture theirs.
Okay, strategy 2.
Look deeper. Go beyond just looking for eye contact, because that can be faked. Observe how they're sitting. Fidgeting means they are mentally somewhere else. Leaning in, taking notes, means they're with you.
And if that doesn't work?
Strategy 3 is the high-impact one. Surprise and disrupt. You have to snap them out of their pattern. You could use some humor, or if you need immediate universal attention.
You use cold calling.
The dreaded but very effective cold call. It's effective because it raises the stakes for everyone instantly. A simple, sudden question to one person like, Jason, what's your primary takeaway on that compliance data?
Jason's awake now.
And so is everyone else because they realize they could be next. It's the fastest way to mandate engagement.
So to synthesize everything we've pulled from the sources today, we have to stand strong with that correct, stable base posture.
Yep.
We gesture effectively, using the give, the show, and the chop to lock our message in. And finally, we have to actively engage the audience by reading their cues and disrupting the pattern if we have to.
When you consciously apply all of those, body language stops being a potential weakness and it becomes a genuine, reliable superpower. You get that perfect alignment between your idea and your presence.
It's a complete system for communication.
And I want to leave you with one final thought, building on that data we broke down. Remember that really stark difference in compliance, 84% with palms up versus 52% with palms down.
A huge gap. It shows a fundamental sensitivity to how authority is presented.
Exactly. We saw how effective it is for big presentations. But now, think about applying that tiny nonverbal cue in your everyday professional life. How would using the give gesture palm up, open offering, change the dynamic if you were just asking a busy colleague for a favor? Or trying to sell your team on a new idea in a small meeting?
You're moving from demanding to requesting.
And that small shift could fundamentally alter your success rate. That massive compliance boost is something to think about next time you step into any room, big or small, and ask for anything.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.